springtime. Senses feel the change. To deny the love that's in your heart is to try to rearrange an order that's been given before it all began. The seasons are a circle that fulfills an ancient plan, but we're losing our connection. There are networks that connect us, like there is no night or day. But every new connection brings us further away. Like satellites, our homes become 1,000 miles apart. We lock ourselves away with all the love that's in our heart. We're losing our connection.
All right, folks, after drilling the holes here on this first end, you can kind of see why I put that little spline in there. So there's a little bit of interesting deformation here in the end grain. This is just from drilling. This isn't from stress, from expansion and contraction or movement or anything. All I did was drill, and we already have a crack in the end grain here. So clearly, sorry, the focus, there you go. Clearly, we need something more than just the end grain to hold that peg in there. So that's why I put that spline in. Anyway, good stuff. All right, so we're here to do the other end of the breadboard end of the table. So these were glued in, the splines here, and I had some chipping out of the end grain on the other end, so I did a little trick here where I added some thinned glue into the end grain here to try and, because this wood here is really soft. So when you drill in, even with the what do you call it? The brad point bit here. Even though the brad point is supposed, with this in place, even though the brad point is going into the hole, it still can grab the soft wood and rip it off of the spline. Now this tongue depressor spline is very strong. On the other end, even though it chipped out some of the end grain here, the spline was completely intact, and I could yank on it, and it was holding very well because it's so long and goes into fresh wood that's not disturbed. So anyway, it seems to be working well. So now I'm going to measure where I'm going to put the holes based on where these holes are, or these marks. And basically drilling through 5 holes, and then I'll take this breadboard off and cut the slots. Now, because the peg in this wood is sitting still, but the wood underneath is expanding and contracting, I want to make the slots, I want to follow the opposite rule for these slots than I did for the slots that are underneath, where it's the top that is moving within the slot. Here, the top is the slot. And so because we are in March, it's about 45 degrees right now. I'm going to want to start the slot closer to this mark on the outside and then extend it longer so that when the wood does expand, when the humidity increases, that the edge of the slot can move toward the peg and not constrain the movement of this top. All right, so we'll get going. Now I need to check that when I put these splines in, I didn't actually expand. I don't want to have expanded this this wood at all. I want it to be flat across, except for the fact that the table's not flat. But putting in this spline shouldn't have made this any fatter, so I want to verify that. I did this check on the other end as well. That actually, see, this is not flat at all. I don't think it's on there, but I do have a slight raise here. Right. This end definitely came out better than the other end, but that's fine. This is all on experiment. Okay, now I drill. I line up these lines here with these lines. Gets the hole right on the point where I want it. And of course, I want to back up the bottom of this hole so it doesn't blow out. When the brad point comes through. And I'm using oak pegs for this, even though this is a maple breadboard end. I'm using oak pegs. I want the pegs to be nice and hard. And they didn't have maple pegs, so I'm using oak. I have to. Oh, whoopsie. Okay, repeat 5 times, or 4 more times. All right, holes drilled. Ready to work on the slots. All right, yep, same problem as before. So either my glue wasn't thick enough, or you know, obviously I didn't put enough glue on the in the wood grain here to make a difference. So not a big deal. I'm still confident in the in this tongue depressor spline here that it'll be fine for the strength that we need. Now I'm marking the edges of the lines, or the edges of the slots that I want. It's a little different, but it's all right. Okay. And again, the edge of the slot will be over here, and I'll be longer over this way to give this end of the slot some movement toward the pin. Pin is stationary, the wood underneath is moving. So I'm going to allow 1/8 of an inch on the right and make it 3/4 of an inch wide. Over here, I'll make it a 1/16 of an inch, and this will be 5/8 inch, which is quite generous, I think. So I'm allowing this point of the table to grow from the center by about half an inch, which is a lot. So I think I have plenty of room there. Now, what I want to do is I want to score a line going through, and that's a line with a blade, and that's going to be a line that I can put the tip of the brad point in to make it in line with the current hole that's there. Because I don't want to rely on a pencil line to hold the brad point tip. He's just a hair in farther than this one, than the other ones are. It's all right. Okay. And I want to make this a high-speed rotation because I want the wood to chip just as little as possible. If I go slowly, it'll chip out. Or it'll do that. That actually didn't turn out that bad. I think in this case, putting the glue on there actually helped a little bit. I don't have nearly as much chipping as I had on the other end where I didn't put the thin glue on. I got a little bit of chipping out here on the bottom, but again, the spline here is the vast majority of the strength. And I'll try to get a close-up in here if I can of the... Now, since I'm a genius and I left my coping saw down at the river, I'm just using a coping saw blade by itself. And I'll clean it up with a file. Starting to get some chip out there. That's all right. Yeah, see this piece came out. But that's all right. Looks worse than it is. And then the test is, can my virtual peg slide through? Oh, not yet. Just to demonstrate, how strong that is. All right. 4 more times, or 3 more times actually.